Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're doing very well. It's episode, is it episode 15, Sam?
Yeah, Facebook's still unloaded.
Episode 15 of the Alec Steele live show. It's great to have you. We're gonna make some calipers. We just wanna make sure that our Facebook is coming up. Is it working yet? Or we still got problems? Sorry guys, just be a second. Uh-oh. Just a second.
Check YouTube.
Well, is YouTube running? Let's see the live dashboard. Well, we're live on YouTube. We're good on YouTube. Huh. Well, it looks like we're just not going to Facebook. That's okay. We'll do YouTube. We're good for YouTube.
I'll put the thing on.
I like YouTube anyway.
Facebook, say YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. Just shoot them a link. It's easy enough to find. Great, guys, it is awesome to have you here. Very excited. I'm gonna make a fun project and I'm gonna do some new stuff. That's brilliant. We're gonna make some calipers. You know, like a double-winged caliper for having one measurement and then another measurement. Hopefully they'll turn out pretty good. It's gonna involve, you know, drawing out some stuff, splitting some stuff, punching some holes, making a rivet, riveting some stuff. I think it's going to be a whole lot of fun, and of course it's fantastic to have you here. Any word on the stream on YouTube? Is that all still good? All good on YouTube. That's fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Very, very good. So with that's going to stump me, and I don't really know what to say right now. So I guess I've got to start forging. How about I talk about the steel that I'm going to use for this? I'm going to use a 13 by 6 mil flat bar. You know, it's about a ½ an inch by a /4 of an inch flat, mild steel. Doesn't need to be anything more fancy than that. And I've got a couple of pieces of that hanging around. I've also got some 3/8 inch round for the rivet, which I think should be just fine. And the first step is probably going to be forging a split. Now, I need a chisel for that. Where's my chisel gone? There we go. I do have a chisel. Fantastic. I'm going to set that up on the anvil. My tool tray is a little bit of a mess. So what has been happening here at the shop today? Well, I had a 4-man blacksmithing class here. Beginner blacksmithing. It was fantastic. 4 great group of guys came in and, you know, we had all the stations set up. Brilliant. You know, they made a couple hooks, they made a leaf pendant and had a lot of fun. And about lunchtime, they spotted oh, dropped my banana. They spotted a forged knife, you know, really super simple, all steel forged knife. And they're all like, hey, Alec, can we make one of these this afternoon? And so we made some cool knives in the afternoon. Here's kind of along the lines of what they were shooting for. Kind of inspired, if we go ahead and switch to shot number 2. This is kind of along the lines of what we were shooting for in the class and what the students were making. This is along the lines of a Dave Lish rat knife, I believe is what he called, which is pretty cool. And they're pretty fun to make. The students enjoyed it. So that was great. You know, it was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed making the knives, and it was brilliant hanging out with them, teaching them some things they'd never forged before. And like, I mean, it's brilliant when you see people who have never forged before. You see their reaction. It's great. You know, they're always so ecstatic. It's fantastic. It's a wonderful craft, and I think it's something that really. I think blacksmithing is something that is just so appealing to people for the reason that it's, you know, it's so intrinsic to the human, to what it is that made us human, to the past that we have as humans. You know, it's fire that allowed us to, you know, cook foods to get more nutrients from them. It's the fire and the steel that allowed us to conquer lands and pave ways for freedoms. It's the steel that allowed for the Industrial Revolution. It's incredible. It's this incredible conglomeration of things that really tap into the human psyche and tap into, you know, our, you know, urges to build things, our urges to create things, our urges to conquer things. Blacksmithing is a great representation of that, and you know, you can really see that when you see people see blacksmithing for the first time or try it for the first time. They're always very, very captivated by it, very enthralled by it. They always enjoy it very much, and it's a really good thing. It's a wonderful thing to see, a great thing to be a part of. So I'm going to probably lay out a cut here and have a think about how long I want it. Then I'll forge it out and probably try and make these calipers a little prettier than a normal pair of calipers. Why? Well, I think that's a lot of fun. And it's always good to have a little bit of fun. Fantastic, fantastic. Still no Facebook stream, Sam? Oh, no. Oh, well. That's okay. You're going to have to shout me off some YouTube comments then if there are any questions coming through. That way I can answer and interact. I usually have the Facebook comments up on the phone. That won't work today. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my chisel. And it's pretty hot to do your laying out. I'd ideally plan it so you do your laying out at a colder temperature. Or even if you have a hardened chisel, cold, you know, that's something you could do. So I'm just going to pull this down. I reckon that's about enough material. I'm just trying to drip that over to that one side by hitting at the angle. That often helps you migrate the chisel line over to be even. There we go, that's laid out. And you can see really, one of the things I really like to stress is, you know, if at all possible, you want to plan your heats so that you can always maximize the work that you're doing at the high temperatures. Now let me pull your exposure down. There we go, I think that looks a little bit better. What was I saying about high heats? Yeah, so really, you know, I like to apply a little bit of an economic argument to heats. And if we were to pretend and imagine that your temperature was a cost, you know, there was costs to it, right? Naturally, your high heats are in enormous demand as we're blacksmiths. We want to forge material, right? High heats are in enormous demand for forging material, but they're in extraordinarily scarce supply as the high heat lasts for seconds or, you know, sometimes on larger sections, minutes, but it's a very short amount of time in comparison to the infinitesimal amount of time that a piece of steel can be cold. Cold temperatures, therefore, are an enormous supply, but when we're wanting to forge material, when that is our aim, that is our motive, cold temperatures are in very little demand. We want it hot. So something I always try and stress when I'm teaching the classes, you know, and people aren't getting it hot, is look, plan your heat so that at the high temperature, you do that which maximizes the return on such a high value opportunity. You know? So you make sure you're moving material at the high temperatures. You don't make sure that you're fanning about laying it out like I was. Then at the low temperatures, where you have a greater degree of control with your hammer blow, where you have all the time in the world, you make the most of that to do planishing, to do laying out. And that way, if you plan your heats in that way, you're able to really maximize the efficiency. Make sure that you're not using an extremely valuable opportunity for something that doesn't require that high temperature, etc., etc., etc. It's fun to think about it in a slightly different way. So I want to make sure I have a little piece of mild steel to cut through onto. So what's going on YouTube? Any interesting comments coming through?
People want to know about your philosophy and who your favourite philosophers are.
Ah. Well, I enjoy Stefan Molyneux. He's one of my favourite kind of modern day philosophers, and I mean, I guess Ayn Rand is more of a novelist than a philosopher, but in a certain degree, a philosopher too. They're kind of people that I enjoy reading and listening to.
That's mild steel.
Yeah, this is mild steel, absolutely. Open up that cut a little bit. There we go, I can take a heat, come into the end with the chisel. I'm going to do that in the vise. This might be an opportunity to pan the camera when I go there. And I'm going to lay it sideways in the vise along along the length of the jaws, maximize the amount of surface area contact, maximize the amount of friction, means that it's not slipping around. And with that extra surface area contact, you can get a much tighter grip without marring it. When you put it upright in the vise, something I mentioned I think on one of the previous shows where whenever we do splitting, I like to mention it. Put it upright in the vise, your vise with the small amount of surface area contact will dig in there. If we can avoid that, we want to try and avoid that. Put it sideways, that really mitigates against that risk. So I'll pop her in. Gently bring the split back. Flatten her down. There's no rag to speak of, so I don't need to get in there with a file or anything. That cut is pretty clean, which is very good. Okay, so I'm not going to start forging that split. Naturally, I like doing this on the diagonal if I can. It means you can really get in there nice and fast. As we get into the low temperatures, of course, do some planishing, make the most of the added control that we have at the lower heat. And of course, it's always nice to keep a nice rhythm. Wonderful. Now I'm going to go on and forge the other tine. Flip it around. Sorry? Yeah, you can pick it up. We won't go to it yet though. You got to just keep going to the right. Just keep them in the background there. Should be set. Right. There's nothing like putting yourself in a nice forging rhythm. Oh, I got caught up there. That tine is sticking on the lettering on the other side of my anvil. Vanish at the lower temperatures. Now I'm not going to want them sticking out like that. I'm going to want to go ahead and close them up. So I'm going to take a heat to do that. And then it's going to be a case as to marking my hole and getting ready to punch it. So what else is going on YouTube, Sam? Hey, are you using the computer? Are you using the computer on the ride?
Turn it off. This is on the Wi-Fi. I just need to set it up to go on my phone, take the audio off my phone.
Oh, you won't need to. This should be fine. It'll be strong enough. Because I'm going to do a pop-out chat. It's okay, YouTube. I'm about to be there. I'll be able to read the comments. Hold tight. Thanks, man, I appreciate it. Okay, guys, what's the bet that I throw a hand tool through Matt's nice computer? Through yours. Great to see you guys. Oh, Michael, thank you so much for coming on the live show. I'm pleased that you bought the How to Start Blacksmithing. That's brilliant. Hope you have a lot of fun getting into it. It's a wonderful craft. Cody Rutland asks if I made my touch mark or did I have somebody make it. Oh, it's got some banana on it from the little shift around there. No, I made my touch mark, but it's awfully simple, the S. You know, you might have seen it before. Very much a simple touch mark. It was just done with a chainsaw file. Right, let's close these up ever so slightly. And then I guess I want to work out whereabouts I want to punch a hole. Or do I want to do some forging back here? You know, I think I want to do some forging. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to come in here on the round die at the horn. I'm going to take another heat. I'm kind of guessing where I'm going to go with the design, but yeah, we're going to do a little more. We're going to do something a little bit interesting, a little more interesting.
Are you ready?
Well, not yet, not yet. I want to do a little more forging before I get distracted. I've got to work out where I'm going with this thing. Probably want that a little longer. Hey, Sam, I tell you what these people need to see. I reckon they need to see the dagger. Of course these people want to see the dagger. Hang on a second. There we go, they're seeing it. Oh, it's on manual focus. They're not going to be able to see it. You've got to pull it to the side one. I'll take it. Zoom in a little. Give it a little zoom in. There we go. So that is the Damascus knife that I made this week, which is like a seriously exciting project and a wonderful little foray into the craft of knife making again, which I'm very, very pleased by. I'm going to be making more knives in the future. It's something that I can really see positively influencing the YouTube channel, and more so, it's a hell of a lot of fun. I had a fantastic time making that knife. It's wonderful to, you know, I mean, making Damascus is thoroughly enjoyable. Pardon me, goodness, where's my English? And this is a great opportunity to be able to make even more, you know? It's one of the best presentation pieces for a Damascus pattern, so I'm excited to keep developing the Damascus work, keep developing the patterns that I can work out how to make, and keep developing the finesse of the knife making, you know, because there are a few things that need to be kind of sorted out with that to really make it, you know, really make it the quality that I'd like. Oh, and by the way, guys, you know, I didn't know whether it was a butt cap or a pommel. I think we've worked out. It's a pommel. Thank you. To all 150 of you that told me it was a pommel, I appreciate that. I must say, it got a little excessive about the 147th time that somebody said it was a pommel. Ian Lowe, does the round screw on the pommel tighten up enough on the handle to not have any movement, or have I glued it in as well? You know, when I was doing a dry fit, right, and I put it on there and I tightened it up, and I'm like, this thing doesn't move. So I figured there was no need to epoxy it. What it also means is that handle, the way I made it, I didn't have a lathe here, so I stuck a drill bit in the hole that I drilled in it, and I put my hand on one end, and I turned my cordless drill on and put it on my belt grinder. Naturally, it's impossible to get a perfect center that way, but it made it all right to kind of, you know, look pretty and do the job, but it's just ever so slightly off center. So I want to be able to take it off and eventually make another one, you know, when I get a lathe, or if I get around the lathe, you know, make another handle out of some more ebony that's just, you know, spot on. Sorry? You've got a lathe. Well, there we go, there's the answer. Okay, so punching a hole right now. I probably want to put a 10 mil rivet in here. Reach the anvil, flip her over. Punch a little plug. How are you guys liking the new shot, by the way, the third camera? There we go. Nice little tiny slot punch there. But we need to make a drift. So, next on the agenda is making a little drift. And while I make this drift, I'm going to go ahead and put my little ear thing in. And for the first time, we are going to have a guest on the show, which is a wonderful thing, because I want to have more guests on the show. Yeah, you got to press the little headphone icon on the thing. Sorry? Not yet, not yet. You see the little headphone icon at the very right? There we go. Awesome. That way I'm not getting my feedback. So this is the first guest that we'll ever have on the show. And I want to have more guests on the show, because I think this is going to be fun. We're going to see how it goes. I think it's going to be great. So, that's the wrong one. Oh, there we go. It's Matt. There we go.
Can y'all hear me? I can't tell.
I think next time we've got to work on a smoother transition and introduction for our guest. But this is Matt Marty friend of mine, and I mean, you could give us a little bit of an intro to who you are and what you do, Matt, and say hello. You're live to the audience, to the world, forever. Sorry? Yeah, we're all good. Absolutely. It's
I
good
can
to,
hardly
it's good
hear
to see
him
you, by
right
the
now.
way,
He's
Matt.
just so far away. But like, what I do is I pretty much I go part-time to a community college and take some classes there, and I mainly make hammers and tooling right now at my current shop at south here in Cleveland, Texas. So that's what I've been up to lately. And I recently got a new air hammer, so it's pretty cool. What are you? Go ahead, Alec.
What model and make of air hammer do you have?
It's a Striker, 165 pounds, a Chinese hammer, about 12 years old, 14 years old.
Where do you get it?
I got it from a guy in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I met him at the Havana 2016 conference, and I went and picked it up about a month ago.
Now this thing is what, like 2 tons, 2.5 tons, the body of it?
I can't hardly. What did you say?
The body of the machine, what, 2 tons, 2.5 tons?
About 3 tons, about 6,200 pounds. The RAM 165 or 75 kilogram RAM.
There's a photo on there, Sam, of this ridiculously oversized, I mean, I don't know the correct term for it, but the machine that you used to get it off the trailer, what was the story with that? How did you get access to that thing, and what? It's enormous. I mean, that thing's like 20 feet tall almost.
It's modeled off the Bechet hammer. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
No, I mean the big tractor that you had to pull it off the trailer.
I don't know if I have a photo, but I can get to easily.
No, we've got it up. It's on the screen.
Okay, cool.
What's the story with that? How did you get access to that machine to move your?
A buddy of mine is down the road. He works at a natural gas. They work for the natural gas companies and stuff, doing survey work, and for like $100 an hour, he came out and loaded it. It only took him an hour, so it was $100 to load that big hammer.
That's like unreal. I mean, that's crazy. That's a scale of thing that I'm, being obviously from Britain, where things are often a little bit smaller than they are. In Texas,
it's a sure as heck a large machine for what it. Unloading it. What we used to load it was a Skytrack. We had the 3-ton Skytrack to get it out of the shop in New Mexico. So that was a lot more expensive to get it loaded up than to unload it. Currently, it's sitting about 4 feet from where it's going to sit in the concrete or its foundation. I'm still working on building the foundation with the anchor bolts in the rebar and such. So what I have to do next is fabricate the rebar structure that will move once the concrete's poured. Because when you pour concrete, actually 5 yards, 6 yards of concrete, which I think this hole's going to have, you want that the bolts going up and the rebar foundation itself to not warp or move because of the weight of the concrete. So I have to build the structure with the bolts so that they perfectly align when you drop the machine down onto the bolts, and also figure out a base to raise it up. It's a low-sitting machine. It sits about, say, 6 inches too low for my height. So I have to raise it up, and I'll build that base soon. And hopefully it'll all come together. It's just there's a lot of pre-planning that goes in before you make any type of decision with this machine, because you can only move it so much.
Ask Matt to look at YouTube. People are asking him questions on YouTube.
Oh well, I'll ask him the questions. Let's see what questions you guys are asking him. Hey, they want to know what you're going to use the power hammer for.
What am I going to use the air hammer for? I'll be using it for forging tools, and that's mainly what I do. So that's what I'll the normal hand hammers you see blacksmiths use, and jewelers' hammers, and farrier tools. I'd like to do some art stuff that you see like some of the Czech guys do, and Italians.
Yep. That's fantastic. Did you watched? Was it? Because I've heard you talk about him before. Roberto Giordani, is that who we're talking about? Is that?
I couldn't hear what you said. Say.
At Habana, wasn't Roberto Giordani there?
Roberto Giordani there from Italy he demoed and made a steelhead trout it was a representation of like the trash and stuff that we throw into the ocean and all, and because it had like plastic and all that in the fish skeleton, because the fish was the skeleton of a steelhead trout, salmon steelhead, some fish. It was cool.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Because you'd been interested in his work before, right? So what was that like
I have
seeing him work?
a lot of his architectural ironwork he had done in his shop out there. I think it's Cesena, Italy. Has been fascinating to me since I started this type of work. So I'd like to go out there and check him out.
Do you have any kind of desire or motivation to get into architectural work eventually?
I couldn't hear you, Alec. I'm busy working.
Do you have any desire or motivation to get into architectural work eventually?
Can't hear you.
Oh, he can't hear me. Yeah. Sorry, man.
I don't have the really good audio out that YouTube is getting. I have Sam's audio, so it's kind of like
it's good.
I can
I'll
hear
ask the question now.
the faint noise of Alec in the background.
Sorry. Well, next time we do a show, now you can hear me. We're all good. Next time we do a show, I'm gonna have a Bluetooth speaker, a Bluetooth ear set, with like a mic. That way that you can hear like proper stuff, you know.
Whatever you're doing right now works great.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that I can't forge, which is a problem.
Oh, you turned off the forge. Oh, that makes sense.
Exactly. But next time I'll have a little Bluetooth like in ear with a microphone, like the when you like
truckers
one of these
and stuff
things.
use.
Exactly. One of these little things. But we couldn't get it set up this time, so.
Well, that works out.
So we're on this, which is some really funky setup that's actually somehow working, which is impressive. I need to ask another question for you to say something. Let me find some guys to comment. Guys, I apologize for the haberdashery Skype call. It's going to be great next time when I have the Bluetooth earpiece.
I can hear him better now. It's all good.
Hey, tell them about where they can find out about what you do.
Where do you find me at? I'm on Facebook at just Matthew Marty out on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram at Matt_Marty.
There's
so,
a
check
lot of his Instagram pages. Let's show some of the stuff that he does. He makes some very nice hammers.
Thank you very much, Alex.
Very, very nice hammers. You know, putting his own twist on them, which is fantastic. I mean, you took a class with Brian, what, 2 years ago?
Yes,
or
I went
three?
to Brian Gill's class, a private class with him about 2006, 2014, June there. I went for 5 days, made 6 though. I was one of the, learned so much of that class. That's how I do what I do today, just that class right there. And you know, there's always a lot of information online and all, but that's the main thing in the class. And the tools to make tools curriculum, made the standards that you see Brian did when he was teaching classes and all. So it's one of the last ones he did before he quit doing that and go to, when he moved out to Oklahoma, Alec and I went over this summer up there where he shot the actual video of the Brian Brazil course curriculum. It was there kind of like watching in the background Alec do this with Brian. It was really cool. We were there for about 10 days or so. In the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, eastern Oklahoma, with the Sallisaw. And it was kind of the foothill Ozark Mountain. It was really pretty. But it was cool to watch Alec film, do his thing. He got this new camera and film Brian do some of the stuff that we'd never really seen Brian do on video at all. And it was
crazy. It was a lot of fun. It was a great 2 weeks. Then we drove all the way from Oklahoma across to Georgia.
Macon, Georgia, near like Jackson, Georgia, or something around there. I have no idea really where we went.
I didn't have any idea either. We did a lot of driving in Georgia, and it seemed to be in circles. But we went to Georgia.
Seems like it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all teaching a class together. Ed Brazil, Brian Brazil, Matt, and myself teaching a class to the Okmulgee. Is that how they pronounced it?
Dawson, the place we was at.
Okmulgee?
Yeah, it's something like that. It was something like that. It was near Okmulgee, Blacksmith and Gill. It's a really hard name to pronounce.
Great group of guys.
Dawson Trails.
In like the blaring Georgia summer heat, teaching
with the
this
humidity.
Class. Oh my goodness, it was it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
It was cool to see pack everything up. We Brian's station and like a quad forge with 4 fire pots. The forge striking him around it. It was a teaching station Brian had just made. We put it in their little back of the Ford F-150 pickup truck, drove across country, and got there. But the thing was the plan originally, I was going to drive up with my truck, my F-150 pickup truck, and
yes, brilliant.
I was going to take like half the stuff, and like we were going to split it up between two trucks, go to Georgia. Well, it was kind of my first time out of state by myself. I was going in a very unfamiliar part of Oklahoma that I'd never been to. And I was in McAllister, where I was at a red light in McAllister, and I totaled my truck there. I ran into the back of a service truck for tires, and I ran back and crashed my truck. And then I'm stranded up in McAllister, Oklahoma, on like a Thursday night. And McAllister's really like there's only like 4,000 people that live there, not many.
Hey, and there's a county jail. Don't forget that.
What did you say?
There's a county jail too.
So the police officer was a really cool guy, an older gentleman. He was going to retire soon. He said, "Hey, I'll take you to the police station so you can get your stuff figured out because you have nowhere else to go." And I'm like, "Sure, that sounds good." Really, it wasn't even a police station. It was like a call center, an old building. I stayed there and I figured out, okay, I probably should go get something to eat. So I went down to it was like Bob's Tacos, and I sat at Bob's Tacos for 3 hours while I wait for Brian and Alec to come get me. And it's this like taco shop that was a Oklahoma taco shop that had like old diner or something like that beforehand. And it was about 8 o'clock when Brian and Alec got there, and I see them, walking in from a distance. And it was like one of the happiest moments. I've not seen these guys in forever, and I've also just totaled my truck, and I'm stranded in nowhere, Oklahoma, and they came and saved me and get up there to Greasy, Oklahoma. It was pretty cool.
Sorry?
What is Matt studying?
What are you studying at community college?
Right now, welding. That's what I'm mainly working on, TIG welding and MIG welding.
What are you, how's that? How are you enjoying welding? What are you learning most about welding? What are you finding most interesting?
I find
TIG welding
the most
especially,
interesting
'cause I
thing is that I enjoy blacksmithing more, to be honest with you, and it's a great program and all, but it's like I can use the skills in my shop more than anything, but like the TIG welding is pretty complex, and the MIG welding I already finished that course, so I'll be done with the TIG welding pretty quick. So I can use a lot of that for making tooling out of like the similar tool steels and stuff and thin stuff. I don't know. I'm still new to the whole process. Pretty new.
I apologize for not being very attentive to what you were just saying, Matt. I was looking for a fuller. It's all good. It's all good. I'll make this work.
Like Dave, a new
I'm
guy
really
in
sorry,
blacksmithing.
Sam. I didn't hear what you were just saying.
Education.
Oh, you're talking
Like
to him.
any type of clinic you get is like quality clinic. What I mean by that is like a group class or a personal, like private class. Take it like some guy that knows her stuff, that produces quality, like clean work that looks structural. Like that's what I would recommend. Even like hang out with the exterior makers and stuff because they do very clean work. Trust those guys. But like education is essential to make this because you have to have a foundation to build everything else off of. That's what I would recommend you do. Focus on like education, not through like a school per se, like a college, but more as like privately. You know what I mean? Clinics wise.
What was the
that's my
original question? I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch it. What was the original question?
How to get in blacksmith.
Great. No, that's the perfect answer. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we'll work this out. We'll be a little better at this next time. Hey, what were you working on in the shop today, Matt? Or were you at school?
I know it's kind of weird to be here, Mark. Alec texted me about 3 hours ago. It was like, hey,
Sorry?
you want to come on the show? And here I am. What I've been working on today, I was producing just 3-pound rounding hammers. I was working on 3 of them today, and I got them all forged out and came home early.
Awesome.
To do this.
Woo! It's great to have you here, Matt. Awesome. Hey, I'll tell you guys a little bit more about what I've been working on here at the anvil. I've drawn out a little bit for the handle, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some fullers and some ball punches in there, play around with that a little bit. Then I'll end up making a bottle opener on the other end of this, and I think that'll be great. And there'll be a nice little interesting, more decorative double compass. Then we'll start working on the other 2 pieces.
I think I responded to Mark, but yes, it is. I am here, Mark. Hi, Mark. Mark is a friend of mine who came up back in early this spring in March and did like a one-day hammer making class with me, and he's now gone and done really well with how he's like information he has found online and stuff was from Alec mostly. And the project he's done, he recently made a TV tool tray and he forged just like Brian and Alec have. So that's pretty cool.
Putting a little bit of Jacob Farm inspiration into this piece. Hey, have you been showing them the hammers that he's made? They're great. They're very good. They're really fantastic. Now, are you teaching classes now, Matt?
I am not right now really teaching classes. I'm mainly focusing on manufacturing and like making and selling hammers. That's kind of what I'm mostly focused on. I'd like to do some more classes and stuff because that's I can teach more people at once, but I'm not set up for that right now.
More questions for Matt, guys. More questions for Matt. Keep them coming.
Please, more questions. What are your questions?
More questions.
I'm trying to read them right now. Abana, what is your question? Education is a broad word. I would agree with Chip and Barkman, Mr. Barkman. I agree with that. The groups are very important. But what I'm mostly focusing on, like the guys that like go around and teach clinics and stuff, those like a lot of those guys are very quality content. You see guys like John Williams in Sacramento. He does clinics. He's been doing clinics with Brian and Ed. There's some trying to remember the name and all that. There's a lot of guys that do the group clinics and at the groups like Peter Ross and Jim Hoffman. I just went to a conference last weekend in Oklahoma where those two guys were demonstrating, and then after that, a couple days, they were doing group clinics and all that with I think about 30 people. It was really cool to watch.
Was this the Salt Fork Craftsman Conference?
What was the question, Alec?
Was this the Salt Fork Craftsman's Conference?
Salt Fork Craftsman Conference, yes. It's like Sulphur, Oklahoma, about 4 hours away. And it was a
You didn't total your truck, did you?
I didn't total the truck. I let somebody else drive. I've learned my mistake. My mistakes. No. Best tip for beginners, I would probably say education is education, and just get out there and try it. You know, don't like be like me who didn't want to do anything if I made sure I didn't want to do anything because I was worried about failing and stuff. Just go out there and try it, learn from that, and compare your work to others and try to critique it to get better.
I think that is so important. I really worry that a lot of people are putting a little too much thought into getting started into blacksmithing. Because it's a pretty easy craft to get started in. It takes digging a hole in the ground, right? A little bit of air from a hairdryer. You just start beating on a rock if you have to. And you just got to start getting into it, and it's hugely fun, and you learn a lot more just tinkering away. Even if you have to hammer on a rock, you learn so much more doing that than anything else.
Definitely, I would have to agree with you, Alec. I don't know of any current schools in northern Nevada, but there are some guys in Salt Lake City area. There's a guy named Wasatch Forge. I believe he does classes, and if not, you would probably be best to communicate with him and see what he would recommend area-wise, because I know there is education there. Otherwise, there are a lot of smiths in Salt Lake City, so that's what I would recommend, Nick Beeman. Yes, I think Alec has perfected his striking ability over the last 10 years. No, 6 years you've been doing this. How long have you been doing this, Alec?
How long have I been doing what?
Blacksmithing and stuff.
7 years.
7 years, since 2009. Wow, that's awesome. Let me read Mark Spleen's question again. I missed that.
So I'm making an extra long slot on this piece. Just running my punch up and down.
How far into the hardy hole should be for a striking angle? Hardy hole is like, it should be at least minimum, if it's like this long, you want to have it in the middle this way, here, and then like 3 to 4 inches, maybe 2.5 from the side, from the end. Just kind of like square. Southwestern Arkansas, or Kansas, LA. You're pretty close to this, like the Oklahoma guy, and Oklahoma, Mississippi. You have a lot of guys. Mississippi and Louisiana, there's a lot of blacksmiths there. How long have I been making hammers? I think probably like about 2 years now since I went to Brian's, and kind of that's what I've been focusing on, but seriously for the last year or so. Infinity Forge in Northern Nevada offers classes. Thank you, Ken, for that. Like Mark talked about, like the hammerite tongs and how structurally important they are. I think sometimes people don't like stress that as much, because I've used a pair from Brian for the last 3 years since I bought them from him. I've used probably 1,000 hours holding those tongs, and all they've held up well. There's a proportion with them that's 5 to 3. You know, that little dinky thing right here, and then this. That's incredibly important, so you're able to hold the hammerite tongs, or hold the billets, very different size billets in different ways. Like you're able to flip them around, like you see people punching eyes and all, and then be able to get in there and grab the eyes of the tool, so you can lock them up with fuller, you can align them right. If they're not like that, bad things happen. You need to have them where they're in line and not, correct.
That's a seriously good point.
Best places to buy tools for a guy who wants to blacksmith. Well, depends on your price range and stuff, but mostly what it is like the conferences and stuff. There will usually be tool vendors, and online. You can always check out Alec, what he has. If you're in Europe, definitely. In America, definitely too. Yard sales. I found some stuff at yard sales. I found stuff at flea markets. Some of the best tongs I have, I found at flea markets and stuff. But online, if you're able to afford like some of the OCP tongs, maybe I think they're OCP, off-center tongs by Blacksmith Depot. They're usually pretty tongs, pretty true. So definitely. eBay too has a lot of really good deals at times if you're quick. Who else has questions? Southwest Arkansas. But I am like, hopefully I explained that right. There are some stresses and abuse those tongs have to deal with. Like a striker, they hit always kind of off a little bit, and those tongs have to be able to perform and hold up to that. And then sometimes ends of the tongs, like right as you get into that eye, I guess the jaws of them, they're really just little curlicues. Those have to be pretty tough, and that's where your main wear part of those tongs are, for being heated up. If you actually heat them in the fire, just overall wear, that's your main wear spot. I have found some stuff at scrap yards as well. Mark just talked about the blacksmithing, mainly vices and stuff. I would have to recommend for a beginner too, a rounding hammer is probably, it is the most useful hammer I have found. Because the cross pins, it depends on it. It's usually a flat face, semi-crown and all. But the cross pin, the actual peen of it, is for spread metal laterally. That's how I do it, and that's how I hold my stock. You can spread it other ways, but a rounding hammer, you're going to get more bang for your buck, because you have like ones like you see Alec and I use that are ground on the flat faces with the fullers, like the quadrant fullers, like on the sides here. You can use that as a cross peen and a straight peen there. And the actual rounding hammer side, as you probably heard Alec talk about, with the whole, it's less surface area contact, and you're able to cock the hammer up and down and all that. So like you can see him doing right now. It's just, I would recommend getting one of those hammers first before anything. There are ways to make them and stuff yourself with, modifying them and all. But if you're able to afford one, which I believe most people can if they're going to get into blacksmithing, it's it's a tool well worth investing in. But get one, definitely make one or anything. A lot of places do carry a lot of tool steels and stuff. You know, like scrap yards, you can find them in, you know, like as iron set crowbars, cold sets, coil springs. You know, coil springs 5160. It's pretty much found anywhere you go, scrap yard wise. The only big thing about those is unwinding them and cutting them off. Mostly unwind them with a just heat and all that. Cutting them off too with an angle grinder or a hot cut. Like a hot cut, top hot cut. That's the most handy way of doing it. I need more questions.
It's good fun. It's great having you here, Matt.
Thank you.
Sorry that we can't chat a little better. It's next week, whoever we have on, whoever it is, maybe I'll plan it a little better than this, where we're like, hey, let's find.
It works. It worked for your first deal. You know, you just got out there and did it. That's the most important thing. I think things is like we talked about like building stuff. Just get out there and try it. You know, you'll pretty quickly like learn where you need to go and you know how to get there. If you do that, which is a huge time saver. So definitely, thank you for letting me be on, guys.
It's great having him. Hey, are you guys enjoying having a guest on the show? Do you want to see more guests on the show? Let us know. Let us know. I want to have more guests on the show because I'm enjoying this. This is fun.
It's new. It's different. One thing, Lindsay, a solid trailer axle would probably be pretty good. Usually it's like at least 1045. One of the easiest ways to tell if they're hard enough is to be able to cut off a sliver on the end, like a 1/4 inch sliver, and heat it up like non-magnetic, or you know where it starts to scale, and dunk it in the water and see if then take a file and skate it across. If that file skates or if it cuts is the determining. If it skates, hard. If it cuts, it's soft.
So I'm going to cut this piece off and then flip it around and forge my bottle opener end.
One of the best steels to like start out with making hammers is 1045 or 1040. It's pretty commonly available in steel, like steel distributors and all. Because it's used for a lot of shafting, and you can find it also too. Like most axles are 1045, so that's one of the best ways to find that steel. And also one other thing, if you have a very open area as hydraulic shafts, just be very careful with that, with the airflow and stuff, because it has a chromium layer that can come off. I don't believe it goes vapor-wise. I believe it more scales off and falls into the forge, so you have to be, you know, somewhat careful about cleaning it. I've made a couple out of that shafting, and they've hardened up just great because they are 1045.
Yeah, that chrome is meant to be pretty bad and nasty stuff, eh?
Please do come see me, RC. I'm in Cleveland, Texas, just south of Fort Worth and north of Waco.
Hey Matt, if people want to make a hammer with you, will you do a hammer making class if somebody wants to?
I do from time to time. Usually the best way to get contact is via Facebook or a Instagram, just on whatever. Get in touch with me every way you can. And I hardly ever use a swage block for the type of work I do. If I do need to use a swage tool, I usually make it for my hardy hole, because I don't have a lot of time to go back and forth and swage block when I make the hammer.
So I'm just working on the diagonal here, drawing out this bottle opener end. I'm on this side of the anvil now so I don't cross my hands over with my piece. Working on the diagonal so we don't have to go back and forth from the face. And you want to make sure, oh, bent the piece right there, that's smart. Make sure you go around the entire loop so you keep it round. Sorry? That one wasn't on? It won't get it? Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Oh, look at that. Just out of shot. Sorry, guys.
It's cool.
Well, that was planned because now I insert the sales pitch where you can see the full demo on my online course, Intermediate Blacksmithing Principles, at beginblacksmithing.com. But of course, you can get 20% off if you use coupon code LIVE20. Oh my goodness, I sound very cheesy, but it's actually true. If you, what's that? He's done? You want to go, Matt?
Yes, I have to go do something real quick. So,
guys, let's give a big round of applause
letting me
for
be
Matt
on here.
Marty. Thank you very much. Let's show the Instagram photo again. Let's show how you guys can follow him. Is what, Matt_Marty?
With one T.
Brilliant. We will see you again. We'll probably
Thank
have you
y'all
on
so much
another
for
time,
having me on.
Matt.
Y'all have a nice
It's been a
night.
pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye. Alright, just ended it. Hope you did.
Have a great one, Matt. Have a great one. Hey, could you do me a favor, Sam? I have a large round drift in there, probably on the Coke Forge on the left-hand edge. Guys, let's give Matt a big thank you in the comments. Wasn't it great having him? I think that was awesome. I'd love to see more guests on the show. If you guys have any suggestions as to who you'd like to see on the show, you know, let us know. We'll see if we can get them on. I don't know if we can, but we'll try. It's a large round drift. Yep. Next time we do the show, it's going to be great. I'm going to have a little Bluetooth headset there, so that I can actually communicate with our caller a little better. I'm not quite. It's a 1.25 inch round drift. I can unplug this. This one's uncomfortable. Oh goodness. The lengths we go to. It's on the Coke Forge. No, just near that edge. There we go. That's the one. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate it. Sorry, guys. We're back. It's all good. Oh. Actually, I'll prep the next step. Get rid of my banana skin. Pop it from both sides. Bring it to about 1 inch round. Push it off to that side slightly. And lay out my bob punch mark. Now I don't have a bob punch on me, it's probably at the other end of the workshop. It's not a big deal. You can always just use a fuller to do these. That near edge of a fuller. Oh, we'll get there in this heat. Everybody needs a bottle opener on the end of their calipers, right? I think that's pretty normal. Most calipers come with bottle openers anyway, so I don't, it's not like it's anything special. Pop that in there. Shine these up. I know. Bottle openers are just cool, and everybody likes a bottle opener. Just using the back end of my brush there as a wooden mallet, say marring it up. Give it a little wire brush. Let's try this trick. Somebody kindly sent me a Facebook message telling me to try this. Wet brush, see if that polishes it up any better. It polishes up pretty well. Thank you, the wet brush is a great idea. Polishes it up wonderfully. A little pop right here. Beautiful. So now I'm going to flip it around, get a little cool. Flip her around there, finish off the other tines. I'm going to put 2 pieces in the spire now for the other half, and I'll forge them 2 at a time. Ian Lowe asks if I got a chance to meet any Australian blacksmiths. I did. I didn't get to Glen Moon, but I was in the Sydney area, so I got to hang out with Matt Newburn, Bruce Beamish. Oh goodness, I'm so bad with names. But guys in the Sydney area, and knife makers too. And it was brilliant, lots of fun, wonderful people. It was great. I didn't really get anywhere away from the class. It was kind of all around the class that I met people, so I didn't go to any other shops, pretty tired on the down days. It's hard work. By the way, guys, as usual, in true Alec Steele show fashion, there is no plan, there is no design to these. I'm just messing around and playing and seeing how it turns out. I mean, what else would I do? Okay. Well, I think I made those tines a little long, really. They have no cause to be so long. But that's all right. It'll do the job. Little bend right there. And give that a wire brush. And then give it a little cool and set it to the side. Just gonna take the edges off this. This is probably gonna be a little bit loud, so I apologize. I'm just gonna run to the grinder. So what I was doing, I just ran to the grinder to thin down some stock that I'm going to use for the rivet. Just that way it comes in and out of the rivet making monkey tool a little bit easier. I can start forging the other pieces. So, how much material am I going to take? Will about that much do, or a little bit more? Wow, it's going to have to be quite a lot. Probably take about that much material. Light up the material as we go. Make it end up hotter than it was when we started. Oh wow, even that was an undershot of how much material I needed. Way under. Concrete versus dirt floor. I mean, depends if you got good dirt. The dirt here is terrible. It's really dusty. It doesn't compact, you know. Concrete's nice because you can mount stuff to it, and it's flat, you know. Dirt, you end up digging holes wherever you work. Like right now, I'm in a dip, which is just kind of unpleasant. However, I do hear that dirt is better on your legs and your back than on concrete, which can be a little bit hard on your knees, hard on your back. But you can always put rubber mats down, horse stool mats. Pea gravel? I don't even know what pea gravel is. Oh goodness, small gravel? I'd probably hate that. You just lose stuff in it, right? You knock a drift through the anvil and have to make a new one straight away after losing it. Compare the lengths. Then I'm going to come in here and to extend it while hopefully adding some sort of aesthetic value to the piece. I'm going to forge in here with the round side of the hammer. Forge a little swell, a little dip. I reckon that'll make it about long enough, about as long as we need. So I can polish that up. How are you guys enjoying the music tonight? That's another thing that's new. This show is full of new things. Pretty close. How many times have I dropped that thing? Stay. Anvil isn't staked right now, actually. Forgot to put the stakes in. I had moved it when I did the group class today. Forgot to put the stakes back in. Is it moving around a lot? Oh, how is the anvil so stable? It's a good base, a really good stand. It would be a lot more stable if it was bolted to concrete, but good stout tripod stand. Tripod stand is great for keeping things stable on kind of uneven and unsteady ground like this, you know, this dirt. Stays nice and solid. It's a heavy stand too. That probably also adds to the rigidity of the setup, even when it's not staked. The stand does have lead in it, which is stupid if you want a portable anvil, but great for right now, I guess. They want to see the stand real quick. Let me. You want to switch to 2? So there's the stand. You want the legs at about a 10-degree angle, no more. If you do any more, the problem that you're going to run into is that it's going to flex with each hammer blow if it's not kind of bolted down. And even if it is, those tubes will have some flex in them. You make sure you fill the tubes with something. Ideally, you know, sand if you want it to be light. Lead if you're happy with it being like crazy heavy, and you know, lead can be expensive too, you know, which might be an issue. Then of course, a nice heavy plate for your anvil to sit on, minimum of a ½ inch. Any less, it just ends up being a tuning fork. And then from here, you know, you find a way of mounting your anvil. Here, what I do on a London pattern anvil generally is I have a piece of angle iron, and I make some little 90 degrees to go around the feet with the piece of angle iron, hole in the top. The bolt goes down to the bottom of the bottom of the plate here. You bolt it down, and she tightens right up and holds it pretty secure. And the reason you might be, you know, if you're ever curious as to why it is that I have a quiet anvil, is because I bolt that sucker down tight to the stand there. That's where I'm going to be next heat. How many hours out of propane? It costs me between 2 and 4 pounds an hour. So I get between, I don't know what you call that. Between 25 to whatever, 35 hours out of a tank. I answered how much it cost me an hour because that's what the question really means. It's how much is it costing you an hour to run it, and that seems make a little more sense. So between 2 and 4 pounds an hour, between, you know, $3, $5 an hour, something like that. Depends on where I buy the propane. Sometimes, you know, if I'm in a pinch and I can't plan it, I can't time the emptying of the bottles just right, I have to run some neighbors where they sell propane, but it's significantly more expensive there than another supplier that I use. So. David McDonough, I apologize if I very much mispronounced your name, asks how far you have to go to get coal in Norwich. Most guys around here aren't getting coal, they're getting coke. And there's a coke supplier probably 5 miles, maybe 10 miles down the road. And naturally, you know, all fuel merchants do ship and deliver and such. These guys do. Egmore's, Sparham. Very nice company, actually. Very nice people. Always a huge pleasure to deal with when I was getting coke. And so that's where the local blacksmiths are getting their coke from, Egmore's. currently Moncton coke, but that supply seems to be set to run out in the next couple of years. I don't know about forging coal. I've heard rumors of a coal that's good to forge with called Welsh steam coal or something like that, which sounds like a lot of guys are having a lot of success and joy forging with Welsh steam coal, which is good to hear, of course, if that's working well for them. And naturally they deliver. I got a quote from them once, I think, and it was in the same ballpark price as Coke once delivered. I believe I ended up sticking with the Coke as a result. Coke is, I find, nicer to work with than coal. Much easier fire maintenance, and you know, burns nice and cleanly, nice and simple. And I always had an electric blower, so I never had to worry about it going out the same way you might with a hand crank and coal. Joshua Magnum asks if I trade bottle openers I make with other smiths. I think I have done. I've given them to other smiths. Good fun. It's always good fun. We do live streams every Saturday at 10 p.m. In the United Kingdom, where I am now, which is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 2 p.m. Pacific. It should be said that we usually arrive, like 15 minutes late? I say arrive, that means the show is usually 15 minutes late because I'm a terrible time planner. We're always trying to do something different. Like today we were late because we were setting up the Skype and make sure that all worked and trying to, plan out the headsets and stuff like that. And so we were trying to do something different. So yeah, we're late, but we're trying to do something fun and cool. I'm trying to make it better every week. Extend that piece to make it match. Ugly. Hey Sam, we were wondering that first ever live show we did and it shut off and you thought it was the music? I wonder if that's what happened this time on Facebook. It might well have been, because it shouldn't have happened, because that music doesn't have copyrights like that on the service that I'm using. So basically a little bit of background. This stream was meant to go to Facebook too, and it didn't. It only went to YouTube tonight, which is fine, because you guys on YouTube rock, you deserve a stream all to yourselves. No, it's it just went to YouTube. Drop the piece. Balance. That's why I keep dropping them, is because one's way longer than the other, so I keep forgetting the different balances. bad at the cold temperatures. Let's go punch some holes. You know, something's been bugging me here. I have the exposure on this thing wrongly set. I'm gonna pull it down. There we go, much better. Ha! We're good. Induction heating. I'd love an induction heater. I think that'd be a wonderful addition to the workshop. There are times where it'd be extraordinarily useful, you know, doing small batch production work, maybe even for live shows. It'd be wonderfully quiet. There are times where it might not be useful when you're doing very different designs. But an induction heater would be lovely. I mean, certainly that's, in industry, it's a fantastic tool to have when you're mass producing anything. Or producing anything at any sort of scale, you know, when you're really wanting to have the best repeatability as possible and you're working, you know, hundreds of pieces. Induction heater is fantastic. You make a coil, it just works fantastically for the piece that you're doing. And no, I'd love an induction heater. It'd be a fantastic thing to have. How many times do I say fantastic in a sentence? God, I love the comments you guys send. You guys rock. Look at that little plug. Isn't that cute? Almost bottomed it out in one hit. There we go. Flip it over. I just hit my finger. Ow. Well, I grazed it. I mean, oh goodness, I still took a little sliver of skin off. Ah, wonderful. Nice, neat plugs. What a fantastic idea. So Sam is suggesting a drinking game for the viewers next week. Oh, that wasn't you? Mjolnir, how do you pronounce it? Is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. Mjolnir. Mjolnir Knives is suggesting that we have a drinking game next week where you, the viewer, every time I say the word fantastic, you drink. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, in fact. Sorry?
I said moldy and good. I'm like moldy and no, I said moldy and good.
I think I'm deaf, Sam. Moldy.
As in, no
Baldy. Oh, okay. Okay, Baldy. For our American listeners, maybe we should rephrase it, Baldy. So I very cleverly, on the last one, cut it off before making the bend that I'm going to need for these calipers. So I'm making sure that I do it now on this one. I think that'll help. I think that'll help a lot. Having done this now instead of having to hold it in tongs like I have to do on the last piece I was working. Now this is ready to cut off. No, it isn't. Don't know what I was thinking. That's late. It's been a long day. I'm not thinking straight with that thing. I need to put way more bend in it. There we go, that's much better. Much closer to what I'm after. So what I'm doing is I'm comparing these on top of each other there. Seeing if I'm starting to get any sort of closeness. Oh, open her up a little bit. There we go, that's close enough to be ready for assembly, I dare say. Thank you. Okay, this one's ready to cut off. Now this other one, which I very cleverly cut off too soon. Ugly duggly. Nope, need a little more heat. Oh, I have something interesting to talk about. I think you might want to rescale that last photo. Is that the Facebook post? You're on auto live. So I saw a Facebook post the other day that was, I think, on Blacksmithing for Beginners, where it was, what striking style do you use? It was like a poll. And I found it very funny because I saw English style striking. And I didn't really know that was an English style of striking. I guess there's a European style is something I referred to, which is you know, a little bit more of what you might see Germans doing, or what you might see if you see any of the Israeli guys, kind of Yuri Hoffi, working, where they have that sledge all the way over to that one side, like this. There we go, that's the one. They have the sledge all the way over, all the way over to the one side, and they're kind of bopping and popping like this. Bopping and popping, what am I doing? It's late, guys, you gotta, I'm gonna say some funny stuff. They're popping at the steel like this. I would have called that European style striking. But yeah, it was an interesting poll because there was the English style of striking. What do they phrase it? Centered? Is that what they phrase the English style of striking?
Arm center.
Arm center, the English style of striking. Now, I've never seen any English people strike arm centered, apart from really what I tend to have the students do here at the shop, So I looked in the comments, and funnily enough, when the gentleman who posted was asked to describe what he meant by English style striking, he posted one of my videos. So I'm finding that very funny. It's wonderful, the microcosm of the internet, that though my style of striking is certainly, I say my style of striking, goodness, it's certainly not my style of striking. The better way of phrasing it is the style of striking that I use. There we go, that's a much more appropriate way of phrasing the reality of the situation. It's certainly not anything that I've invented or developed, it's just that that's the style of striking that I enjoy and seem to, my students seem to have the same success with it. But it's interesting, what the microcosm of the internet creates. I might be using microcosm in the wrong way. If I am, it's like 12 o'clock in the evening here, so you guys have got to give me a break. That just purely by virtue of me publishing the most, apparently it's a British style of striking. I find that very funny. In reality, it's not a British style of striking. It's different to most styles of striking I've seen. So it's funny. Well, I'm actually probably going to need that up here on the anvil. Goodness, I hope I didn't get this backwards. So I've just been trying to match them up a little bit. They're looking pretty close. Phew, I did make it the right way around. We're good, I made it the right way around. That is a positive thing. Now I'm going to flip her over and do the same on the other side. And while that heats up, I'm also going to let my rivet stock heat up, so I can make a rivet. When I'm not making videos, do I listen to music in my shop? And what bands do I like? I'm always making videos, man. I'm always making videos. I'm making videos all the time. So I tend really not to listen to a whole lot of music in the shop. Come on, Alec. Now it is past midnight. You'll have to forgive me for dropping things and slurring my words. It's been a long day. So what's that been? Am I soon going to be pushing 18 hours, or is it going to be 17? Oh. Oh well. 17 hours. I know. 17 hours, so you'll have to forgive me for being a little bit on the tired side. Eric, the music I'm quite partial to, when I'm listening to music, one of my favorite playlists on Spotify is Air Punch. It's got some great rock music, really gets you going. And I very much enjoy that playlist on Spotify, so and I guess there are bands like AC/DC and the Rolling Stones in it. That's very enjoyable. Now I guess, what is my favorite genre of music? I'd probably say country music. And now that wouldn't be a far fetch for any of you to guess that, considering the footwear that I am always wearing and the Texas flag in my workshop. I do like a bit of country music. But yeah, I'm usually, when I'm in the shop, I tend not to listen to music on the loudspeakers, since I'm usually filming, you know, and I can't really listen to it on the loudspeakers. So I'll listen to podcasts and such in my earphones, audiobooks, and things like that. I'm really doing badly at matching these things up. Right, let's see if I can fix that.
Everybody in Texas is some redneck country boy.
Not everybody in Texas is some redneck country boy. But there are trends and averages across all spectrums. There will be a mean somewhere, and I believe that mean lies right about at George Strait on the spectrum of different genres of music. Now I might be completely wrong. $45 plus 16 plus a little bit, 63. Okay, let's take the rivet stock. And oh, I'm gonna need a glove on for this. I always make that mistake, and it burns a lot because that rivet likes to throw the sparks down at you. Yoggly doggly. So I'm gonna lay that right there, give her a cut. Cool off the bottom so it's not swelling. Set her in my monkey tool. Oh wow, that's way too much material. That's like three times the diameter. Yeah, I'm gonna start again on that. Yeah, I took way too much material in there. I took about 3 times the diameter. I guess I really messed up my measurement there. I was taking what I usually take. Cannot do that. I've got to change that. So I'm not going to take what I usually take, but I'm going to go back to bending this.
He said, when you need a few pair of grabbers, let me know. I'll send you a pair on me.
Great. It's wonderful. Very kind of you. I'm still waiting on a Wrangler sponsorship. Probably got to get a few more subscribers before Wrangler sponsors me, but it'll happen one day.
Blacksmith's nut shop fails going full circle.
What's that?
Blacksmith's nut shop fails going full circle.
What's that?
People are asking about it.
Oh, people are asking about the Blacksmith nut shop fail. I think that is my best video on YouTube. It is rather fantastic. Sorry? Am I going to recreate it? You'd have to pay me a lot of money to recreate that one. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is pop a drift through it. Okay, those pieces are all ready. Now all I've got to do is rivet it together. Right, so I need that. See how that goes. Take a little less material. Stop it from swirling. Give it a little cool. Great, throw that in the bucket. And then rotate my monkey tool around as I go. Really helps create a centered rivet. So this is 3/8 round, 10 mil round stock. Mild steel for the rivet there. Create a nice little flathead rivet. I like to give it a little cool down. Then grab on it with a vise, twist the monkey tool, and shake it out. And there is our rivet. How fascinatingly riveting. Now, how undersized are my holes? Yeah, see, that's going to be a problem. The holes are undersized. Oh, I'm caught up in the wire. Grab this piece from the ground. Holes are undersized, it's not a big deal. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the rivet as a drift. Oh, it's still hot. That's just so silly. What I need to do is first cut off the rivet. So I'm going to stack up all my pieces. 1, 2, 3. Stack them all up. Take my vernier calipers there. It's not stacking evenly. Come on. Oh, I understand what's happening. There's a little bit of a twist in there. This is not a show of grim precision as I get these to sit flush. Right, about 16 mil plus 15. Gonna take me to 31. So this needs to be 31 millimeters long from the base of the rivet. So I'll heat it up, give it a cut. Set these to the side where they're just gonna be out of the way. Oh, Mick, are you serious? Is Mick wanting to send a pair of jeans? That's freaking awesome. I wear a 32 by 32 936 cowboy cut slim fit. Do you not want to say what you wear live on air, Sam?
I wear 36, 32.
You wear 36, 32. Golly, Mick, that's very kind of you. You're not going to wear the slim fits. 133 are watching. That is amazing. Thank you, guys. That is just outstanding to see so many of you here. Thank you very much for letting me know, Nathan. I appreciate that. I believe that's a record for our YouTube. We've been gaining a lot of subscribers. We just passed 13,000, which is unbelievable. 1,500 subscribers gained this month. If you're here and you're new, thank you. It is wonderful to have you here. I'm excited to keep entertaining you with some new content. Okay, so for this to be twisted up in my cord again. For this to be able to be used as a drift, I need a slight taper in there, and I gotta now see if it's gonna drop all of the pieces. There we go, this will work as a little bit of a drift when I assemble all the pieces. Fantastic. So I'm probably going to take this first, heat that up, and then one by one insert the drift into all of them. Then I'll put it all back in the fire and rivet it all back together. You know, what happens with your stock is naturally you punch your hole, you put your drift through it, and the hole then shrinks. You rivet, it's got scale on it. You know, you're upsetting it when you put it in the monkey tool. Gets a little larger, it's a little large, you know, you can take it to a grinder and grind it down. What I've really come to appreciate doing and enjoy doing, however, is using the rivet as a drift. Make sure it's all super nice and tight, right where it needs to be, and it works fantastically. Using the rivet as a drift. Yes, I have a hammerhead stick shift in my truck. It's the greatest thing ever. Sorry? We were going to make one. What was it we were going to put on yours? Was it a small hammer or was it like a stick of Damascus or something? It was a horse head. Yes, we made a horse head. Sam and I made a horse head, and we wanted to get the shifting knob, I guess is what they call it, the gear stick. But that's the stick. I'm talking about the actual knob at the top. We tried getting it off his van, but it wouldn't come off, so we couldn't put a horse head on his. Great to see you, Colney. Okay, there's part number one. Whoa! My glove got a little toasty right there. Okay, part number two. Well, I guess I'll put it in this way. It's gonna get in my way. I'm gonna put it in the fire that way around. Using the rivet as a drift. Good fun. Now I can go ahead and cool that down so I don't burn myself. Really is great having you all here. I'm enjoying it. I always enjoy it. Apologize for being tired, but it's late. There's an age thing going on. Okay. I'm not going to need that, I don't think. it's a little bent there from driving it in. So I'm going to just tweak it down by holding the rivet in the vise. There we go, that did it. Let's straighten her out a little bit. Beautiful. See if I can get it to pivot, just to be a little closer so it goes in the fire somewhat easier. Cool that down, take on next piece. Beautiful. I want to try and close these up a little bit. I think it'll still fit in the fire. I think we should be all right. Open it right up. He's hot. So since it's not going to fit in, I'm just going to lay it sideways here. On the end of the forge, let that do it. Showing off the dagger. Oh my goodness, that's like my favorite thing I've ever made. Here we go. If you hold it right there. That is my favorite thing I've ever made. I'm just so thrilled with it. And it's the pommel. We know it's the pommel. Fairbairn Sykes. Oh, it has drawn blood. We're making medieval interrogation devices, folks. We have switched over from calipers to medieval interrogation devices.
How about a Damascus dagger giveaway?
Damascus dagger giveaway? Who on earth had the nerve to ask that? Golly, 3 full days of work. You know what's very smart here? That's a lie, it's not very smart. By forging down the material either side of my rivet means I have very weak material because it's small. Everywhere where I need to be able to wrench on it to open this up. So you're going to see me fiddling for a little while as I try and loosen up the two. You know, like on a pair of tongs, you rivet them together, right? And you have this wonderful taper coming from behind the boss. all the way down. So the strongest point is right where you have the greatest yield stress. So when you heat them up, you forge the rivet, they lock, you heat them up, you work them back and forth, and they don't bend because you have the correct structure here at the top. Now, here, it's certainly the opposite. I have weakened it right where there are the greatest yield stresses. So it's going to be a combination of cooling it down, gripping, finicking with scrolling tongs to try and get these loosened up to the point that, you know, like a pair of double calipers should, they'll just nice and gently be able to force in and out and kind of stay there how we want them to when it's cold. So we want them to move, but not too much. Ugly doggly, see if we can make it work. This is going to be a fun one. Fun little expedition in fixing mistakes again. But that's fun, I think it's enjoyable. The key is being able to, I figure the key is, I'm talking as if I know how to make a frickin' pair of double calipers. I never made a pair in my life. But I'm figuring that the key is to have a wide enough range of motion with them both. And that's going to be a difficulty, naturally. Having a wide enough range of motion while retaining a certain element of stiffness so they don't just simply flail around when we actually get to using them. Oh, there's going to be some finicking. Put it back in the forge. Yeah, it's all going to be finicking in the vise from now on. Yeah, moving the camera is probably a pretty good idea. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot of physical strength and mass to be able to swing a 4-pound hammer. I mean, this probably with the hammer is pretty close to 4 pounds. Really, it's like a techniques thing more than anything, and it's, you know, being able to stay relaxed with it. I do retain. I believe that, you know, this kind of weight is very light for the body. It's very easy to move around, provided, you know, you're using it in the right way. You know, my swing, as soon as I hit, as early as possible, I want my hammer to come and almost be, you know, straight up and down, so I'm putting much less yield, or much less torsional stresses on the wrist. So, you know, as soon as I hit, let that rebound bring it straight up, and then you can come up above your head without any torque on your wrist, which is where you're not going to get the problems from lifting it, and then bringing it down, you know, I think that's where most people get hurt when they're swinging a hammer, is when they're trying to whip a hammer down faster than they should. That's when they get the pains in the back of the arm. Bring it down, you know. If you can let your fingers do some of the work as you bring it down, let them whip the hammer down to its final destination, that's going to help. I wouldn't be concerned about physical stature when it comes to forging and swinging a hammer. You know, it's about learning to relax with the hammer and learning to maximize your efficiency in the swing, you know, make sure that you're using gravity to your advantage as opposed to against you, making sure that you're using the rebound from the anvil to your advantage as opposed to against you, that kind of stuff. And naturally it does take time and practice to get used to how to best coordinate your swing. All of this takes practice. All of this takes a lot of time, and all of this, you know, takes a lot of dedication to wanting to learn and wanting to excel at the craft. Okay, so they close, and they go open about yay far, and they close. and they go open about yay far. Yay is the accurate measurement, in fact. Brilliant. Flip her around. Work on the other side. See if we have any joy there. Glenn Weebit asks if that dagger is highly illegal in the UK. Now, before I made the dagger, I did in fact, you know, I like to stay pretty up to date with what the knife laws here are. What a ridiculous thing to say. What a ridiculous thing to have to say. And I double checked. I went through the knife laws to double check. That dagger shouldn't be illegal. It is, however, extraordinarily illegal to have on your person. And so, you're getting cold? I'm sorry, Sam. If you want to take a seat, you're welcome to stand and sit a little closer to the fire. Yeah, it'd be highly illegal to carry that dagger. But owning it, we'll call it a little more of a grey area where you'll probably get away with it, especially considering, you call it like a presentation quality piece. The trouble is that can very easily be construed as a weapon and not a work of art, which is the problem. And it's the problem with the subjectivity of the law as opposed to any sort of objectivity with it. Actually, I think I'm going to do this the other way. I had one here, one in there, and we went close. Oh. No, I don't want you to bend. I want you to... Silly piece of steel. There we go. Okay. Take another heat, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them real loose, which I should be able to do with one more heat. And then hey Ethan, great to see you. Ethan says hello to you, Sam. You've already replied to him. Great having you here, Ethan. Ethan came to the class last year. You should check out his YouTube channel. If you're in the YouTube comments, see his YouTube channel, click on it, and subscribe. He's made some really great videos. They're very much worth watching. Check it out. Have a look at what he does. It's just awesome. Golly. There's a fun little bit of finicking there. A little bit of a better thought process could have avoided that. Hey, you can't win them all. I dropped it. God, it's late. Nice, that's good and loose. Now naturally it's gonna get tightened up, don't you worry, it's gonna get tightened up. We will tighten that bad boy up. But I think I want them loose now. Fouling on the vise.
How did Trollsky come about?
How did Trollsky come about? Well, what happened is he commented on one of my videos, and then I manically replied in caps lock, we need to do a collaboration. Big caps lock, we need to do a collaboration somehow. And then he commented on one of my Instagram posts, or I saw one of his Instagram posts or something like that, and I commented in big caps lock, we need to do a collaboration. Then he sends me a Facebook message. Turns out we're already Facebook friends. We're Facebook friends, and you know, he sends me a Facebook message, he's like, hey, you know, talking about collaboration. I'm like, yes! And we worked out what we were gonna do. And yeah, I can't wait to see what he makes. It's gonna be exciting. With all the oxidization I've given this, it's not as pretty as I'd like. This is back to the story of that wonderful moving hook we made that took about 5 hours to complete on a live show. Live show episode number 2 or 3, I think, that moving hook. Turned out a little bit on the dodgy side of clean, very much on the dodgy side of clean. That's what's happening with this calipers. Ian, yeah, a rosebud torch would have been fantastic. But, you know, it's in the other end of the workshop. And a lot of this stuff, you know, the idea is like show people how you can do it with a small setup. Minimal investment in tooling, that kind of stuff. I think it's a pretty good thing to show, you know, show that finicking happens. I reckon that's all right to show. But yeah, ideally you'd get yourself your rosebud, you'd heat up your localized area, and you'd go to town and just lock it in the vise and only move what you want it to move. Okay, that is loose. Ugly dugly. On the microphone lead. Oh, we're almost there. I call this the live show home straight, which really means that we could have a serious problem happen like right now, and it would take me another 2 hours to complete. You know, watch me break it off or something, you know? Make sure these line up to some degree. Wonderful. Oh, there we go. So that's an issue that I was contemplating when I was making these, is how do the others that I see made, how can you move one independent of the other? Because I worry that the result is going to be that I move one. There we go, you see that? You move one and the other moves. Now before doing this, I had, well actually a couple of days ago when I was thinking about what to do and I decided on doing this, I did Google image search, in fact, double calipers. And in my rough plan of how I was going to go and do this, I was debating whether I make 2 holes or whether I operate on 1 pivot. I in fact decided to go with 1, as that was the photo that I'd seen, and I think I used a pair in Sydney that had 1 only. So I figured, well, we might as well give it a shot and see how that goes. But you see, the issue that I was worried about when I was deciding whether I'd do 1 or more is that if we move 1, the other moves. See that? Move 1 and the other moves, which could be a difficulty. Now, do they wear in? Is that the question? Can you wear them in to the point that that doesn't happen? I don't know. All I know is what I'm going to do is let them cool down, and I'm probably just going to fiddle with them once they're cold. But I make sure I drop them first, and once they're cold, what I'm going to do is fiddle with them and then just ever so gently hammer the rivet until it has the perfect tension, and you know, fiddle with them to the degree that, you know, I can move 1 independent of the other. And I'll probably get back to you in a vlog about how that goes, how that went. For now, I'm going to give that a wire brush. Ooh. Give it a little straighten. There we go. And then a little more wire brushing. And whether I deem this a success or a failure, I certainly think that cleanliness, overall cleanliness, could be improved. My initial thinking was to go with somewhat of a rough aesthetic, but that faded to the wayside, and now the result is this weird crossbreed of a rough aesthetic with a clean aesthetic. And I think that, frankly, that design doesn't really work together. Rough, half clean is not a valuable aesthetic. It's got to be either one or the other. And here we see what it intended to initially be rough, with all the huge amounts of oxidation from the long time that I've taken making this, has become in this weird semi-clean, you know, thinly pitted, scaled finish, which doesn't carry much aesthetic value. So I think on the next one, I would probably focus on making it entirely clean. And not try and do any of this, not try and do any of that. Make it much simpler, and really evaluate much better whether we need 1 pivot point or whether we need 2. So the lesson to take away from this, if I was to take a lesson away from it, is keep fiddling with it, and when you have a project that you know is going to take a long time and involves fiddling, probably better not to not to stray too far from home. Keep it nice and simple would probably be the best bet, because these added intricacies here made adjusting it really a pain, and it should have taken a lot less time. Without these added intricacies and flares, like these dips here and the thinness there and the textures here, it would have been much simpler to, we lost battery, we're all good. Would have been much simpler to make it all and put it together. And I think overall it would have ended up with a more aesthetically pleasing tool. Now, it has some interesting shapes to it, some interesting lines, and I think it's something that I'll work on in the future and work out, you know, the best way to do this mounting system for the two pivoting holes. I'll tinker about what it's called and see if I'm able to tune it to the point where I can adjust one independent of the other, and I'll hopefully get back to you on that. It's sorry? Oh, it's back on. Oh, my bad. So, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the forge, and I want to just say to you guys how much I really appreciate you watching this video, especially if you watched this far through. It really means a lot. You know, spend a lot of time of your day watching this. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've found it valuable and interesting and entertaining. And it's certainly been a wonderful process for me to hang out with you guys and try something completely different. And it's going to be exciting to see if I'm able to tune that and get that to where it needs to be in the future, in the next coming days. And of course, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow on the next episode of the vlog. Wait.
You've got to measure something.
I've got to measure something?
With your calipers.
Well, yeah, they're hot. And they're not set right. I still need to fiddle with them. They're not there yet. And so yeah, you know, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow on the vlog. Man, what vlog am I going to put out tomorrow? I still got to edit a vlog tomorrow. Okay, well, I'll have to edit a vlog probably first thing in the morning. I'll make a vlog for you guys tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow on the vlog. And then I'll see you every other day after that. I'll see you next week on the next live show, which again is, yep, I will do. Which again is going to be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. if you're in the UK, and 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's been a pleasure. It's been a thrill and an honor. If you're on YouTube, please do hit subscribe. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Sam, thank you so much for your wonderful help. Wonderful again. There we go. The typical wave to the camera. And Matt Marty, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was fantastic having you here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And of course, remember to let me know who you want to see on the show in the future, because I want to see if we can get some more guests in the future. I think that was a lot of fun to chat to them. And I'll have a proper earpiece with a mic here so I can better communicate with the guests when they come on. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, a thrill, and an honor. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.